Today on Clubhouse Gas, I'm going to have to defer to the experts. Soccer is not my expertise, but I've got a guy who it is. We're going to get some help from our friends here at Top Hat Soccer Club of Atlanta. So stay tuned to Clubhouse Gas. We're out here at one of the most elite soccer clubs on the East Coast, and it's exclusively for the ladies, and we're joined now by one of the coaches, Dewi Hardman. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Now, before you came here, before last year, you were a college coach at TCU,
yes, I was.
So I want to ask you, the explosion in girls soccer, this facility is outstanding. It's amazing, and it's only for the ladies.
Yes.
The only facility I've ever been to that's this immense and this nice that deals only with girls. Is it directly related or indirectly related, the explosion in ladies sports, to Title IX?
I don't think per se this club is, but I think the success and the growth of women's soccer is really related to it, yes. This club, I think, would be here. The success of this club and the numbers of players we have in this club, I think Title IX has a big influence on that.
All right, and so what about the boys' side of it? You know, when you know, if coming from being a college coach,
yep,
you had to see something coming from the men's coaches.
You know, we had a men's program at TCU, and I was involved when the program was cut from the university, and there was a lot of messages that came to us. It was directly related to Title IX. The school didn't want to carry on a men's program because they didn't have scholarships and didn't want to give it scholarships. So I think there was a lot of accusations thrown out that Title IX was the reason why the men's program was cut. There was accusations that the school didn't want to fund men's programs, and Title IX was the reason for that. So yeah, there was a lot of resentment to that.
So as the men's soccer program gets cut, the women's soccer program
was given
flourishes.
a lot more. They were given a lot more budgetary discretion. They were given a lot more financial support, and people were saying it's because Title IX you had to give money to the women's program.
What about the Olympics? You know, we saw when I was in high school, the Olympics in 1996 was in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And the women's soccer, I think, was played in Athens. Mm-hmm. Our ladies they could win the gold medal. Not only do they win the gold medal, they do it in a very charismatic fashion. They've got Brandy Chastain running around on the field with her shirt, doing all kind of crazy stuff. And then you have Mia Hamm, who's the poster child. Was that directly related to the? I mean, we really have seen an explosion in women's soccer. Did that have anything to do with this?
The role models the girls have out there are tremendous. You've named just two, and at the moment the women are in the semi-final of the World Cup out in China. Again, you know, the kids come into the club here and they start talking about, did you see the game? They're getting up early to watch it, and that's great for us as coaches because they have great role models. But you're absolutely right. The role models they have are phenomenally athletic. They're technically proficient, they're gifted athletes, they're physically strong, and yet, you know, they're actually just wonderful people as well. And I think that they're different kind of athletes from all these stars that you don't know about. They live in a different world. These girls don't. They work normal jobs. There are coaches at different schools. They're at university still trying to work out somewhere because they don't have a professional league to play in. So they're normal people who are doing extraordinary things on the field. So I think there's a lot to admire about them, and our girls do that. So yeah.
Now you've coached men and women's soccer.
Yep.
Are there more challenges coaching the girls as opposed to coaching the guys?
I would say yeah, for a guy, yeah. I've heard it said, or I quote, that dealing with guys is dealing with 11 egos. You say you're not good enough, and the other guys, oh, I'm better than him. You say no, you're not, and then they sort of fight it off. And guys will do that. Girls is coaching 11 personalities, and you can't pit one against the other because they'll always say, well, she doesn't like me. What do you mean she doesn't like me? Well, I'm not sure if I like her. And then you get a team falling apart because they all form these separate little groups that don't like each other and cliques. So dealing with guys' personality is sort of a personality thing. You can fight and let them get it on. On the girls' side, you've got to get those personalities to gel together and mesh together because they need to like each other, which can be very difficult sometimes.
And it's a team sport, and you cannot play it without having everybody on the same page.
Absolutely, and the girls especially, because once they start not liking each other, they won't pass to each other, they won't talk to each other, and you get these four groups over here, four girls over here don't like two over here, who don't like three over there, and your team just falls apart. So you've got to be very careful with that.
Well, Dewi, thank you so much for joining us.
We
really appreciate it. Hopefully you've learned something. I know I have. I've never coached women. Actually, I coached 6-year-old track, girls 6-year-old track one time, and that was quite fun, but it didn't get too serious. But that's going to do it for us today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow on Clubhouse Gas.
Get it at him.